Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the score was 124-108. The Los Angeles Lakers fall to the Chicago Bulls in a very easy victory for the Chicago Bulls. Light work, man. Real light work. It wasn't difficult. Congratulations to all the Bulls fans who were hoping for an easy win tonight. You got that, fam. My team didn't hardly put up any fight. 4 out of the 5 starters from the Bulls had 3 threes apiece, with Ayo DeSumo off the bench hitting 4 of them. Bulls shot over 50% from the field and over 50% from behind the arc, so they were definitely hitting shots. The Bulls out rebounded the Lakers by 8, and that pretty much tells you the story right there. You know, we saw lineups on the floor that were so egregious. I damn near turned my phone to a different app, man. It was that bad. Like, it was so bad. It got to a point where it's like, yo, why am I watching this? Honestly, why am I watching this? That lineup that Darvin Ham had on the floor at the end of the third quarter was fireable. I kid you not. It was horrible, man. You had like Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, Torian Prince, Vanderbilt, and I think it was Cam Reddish maybe, or Austin Reeves. I don't know, but it was one of the worst lineups you could possibly ask for in that situation. I think it was Austin Reeves. Just awful lineup. Going up against Andre Drummond, who was just shooting over us repeatedly, rebounding over us easily. You got to give credit to DeMar DeRozan, 27 points, several rebounds, several assists. Bron James had a near triple-double, only 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. 5 turnovers, unfortunately. Austin Reeves. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I remember what the numbers are, you guys. I'm so irritated. My analyst ability goes down the toilet when it comes to memorizing numbers when I see garbage like that. Truthfully, I'm not going to even hold y'all. If you want to say BDF44 is off his game, I'll concede and say that. I will tell you that I am, because honestly, I don't really have a whole lot of numbers, man. Anthony Davis had a double double, but more than focus is frustration for myself. Honestly, that was garbage. That was absolute trash. It's hard to it's hard to really make a case for standing pat right now as it pertains to making trades, man. If you listen to my halftime video, I'm gonna just kind of reiterate what I felt there. We just don't have enough dynamic basketball players. Now, granted, some of the players that I thought could be more dynamic were not used. Some of our younger guys, a guy like Max Christie, he really provides a dynamic ability, even though he's really underdeveloped at this point. I think he gives you more athleticism, rebounding prowess, just the ability to get out in open court and hammer something home. Outside of LeBron James, the guys he was using out there, they don't really do that. Now, Anthony Davis, obviously, I thought Anthony Davis was playing pretty well, but he kind of tweaked his hip a little bit, and I know he was playing through it. But I thought he played pretty well. He's been playing well throughout this bad play. I haven't really had too much bad to say about AD. But Torian Prince shot well, but man, he hurts us in other areas. Like, yeah, you're gonna leave him down there to shoot threes, and maybe he hits threes, but he's gonna get cooked. He's gonna mess up the plays in the open court. His drives are gonna turn into nothings depending on how close he's running from. If his starting point is like 20 feet out, yeah, he's gonna make a nice quick layup. If his starting point is full court, he's gonna blow it. It's gonna be bad. So it's like he has zero dynamic ability outside of shooting the three. And I thought he made some good plays out there, but he's such a limited player that you don't need him on the floor for as much as Darvin is willing to play him. You saw Gabe Vincent get all 17 of the minutes they said they wanted to give him. I wasn't totally upset at Gabe Vincent, but I just thought the rotations he was in gave us flashbacks of last year's small ball lineups, putting him, Austin Reeves, and Cam Reddish on the floor together, and Rui Hachimura playing center. This was my concern about bringing back Gabe Vincent, because Darvin Ham has this thing about going small, and it always plays out the same way for him. He always ends up losing doing it, but he can't stop. He just cannot stop. Last year it was Russell Westbrook, and using all those guards that we had, Schroeder, and of course Westbrook, Schroeder, and who was the third one, you guys? I can't remember who it was he was using. But he would always put the same 3 guards on the floor. They would always get cooked the same way every night. And then when we made the trade, he did it with Beasley. Kept Beasley on the floor to get cooked every night, bricking shots. Who was that third point guard? This Westbrook. It was Patrick. That's who that was. Patrick Beverly, Russell Westbrook, and Dennis Schroeder. He would leave them on the floor for like 40 minutes apiece, and we just get out rebounded. 3-ball wouldn't fall, and it would be the same thing every night. You're just getting outboarded because he's small ball bull crap. That's what we called it. And so you saw more of that tonight. Now you bring back Gabe Vincent. It's like, yes, I get to go back to my loser small ball lineups that never work out for me, but I love them anyway. That's Darvin for you. And this is why I was saying we need to hurry up and trade Gabe Vincent before we really get into that. And now you saw what I was talking about. In the pregame video, I prepared everybody for bad lineups. I said, look, now that Darvin has all of his team back, you get to see his creativity come out. And that creativity is the bane of all of us. It really is. Because the moment he gets an opportunity, he going to go small. You give him his full team, and now he gets to do stuff that he wants to do. And that never works for the Lakers, man. And it never, ever works for the Lakers. You limit him to only a certain amount of players so that he doesn't have a lot of options from which to create. That's the most important thing about him. You leave everybody at a certain height. You never want to have anybody under 6'4" with Darvin, because if he finds somebody short on the team, he going to play him more than he plays everybody else. It's like a complex or something. I don't get it. But it's real. This is consistent through 3 different lineups. These 3 different teams that he's now had. Last year's team before the trade deadline, last year's team after the trade deadline, and now this year. It's the same thing, man. He just can't get away from small ball lineups, and it's not enough for him to go small with his backcourt. He got to also make sure his front court is undersized in that same flurry. You know what I mean? You had situations where you look up and realize you were going up against Vucevic, an all-star center, Drummond, one of the best rebounders of the generation. And then you look at your center position and you realize both of your backup centers have 1 minute apiece on the game. Like, I'm not the biggest Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood fan, but obviously I need them on the floor to try to at least combat some of that rebounding. So I just understand that, it doesn't bode anybody as a Laker fan, if you're a real knowledgeable Laker fan. It doesn't pay to get on your platform and say fire Darvin Ham, because all you're going to do is be screaming at a wall. Genie's not going to fire him. But you do want to limit everything that he would otherwise want to do creatively, so that he's limited to the things that will best suit him. You got to disarm a guy, It's like leaving liquor around an alcoholic. You don't want to do that, fam. That's exactly what bringing small ball players to Darvin Ham is like. And so that's what I'm here to tell y'all. That's why I want us to get rid of Gabe Vincent. I ain't got nothing wrong against Gabe Vincent. I think he's a pretty solid basketball player. But he's just 6'2", and because of it, he's going to be put in the worst possible positions for a good majority of the game. And the same thing goes for Taurean Prince, even though he's not short. It's like Darvin finds the player that is most limited, and he puts him in the game for the most time and slaps him next to LeBron James. And I'm saying to you, this is everything you don't do when you got LeBron James on your team. This is everything you don't want when you put LeBron James on your basketball club. And so I just have I'm offended by Darvin Ham's creativity, man. That's what it really comes down to. When it comes to putting lineups on the floor, it's the most offensive thing to me. As somebody who played years and years and years of video game basketball, where I explored all types of lineups, so many different years of doing this nonsense. When it comes to that specific thing, he really, really irritates me, man. It's beyond bad. And I felt the same way about Frank Vogel. He wasn't good at that at all. And I felt the same way about Luke Walton. He wasn't any good at that. So, yeah, man, I don't like what I'm seeing. A night like tonight just helps me understand why. I love being at the finish line. Darvin has gotten me to the Western Conference Finals. He's gotten us to the in-season tournament championship win there. We got the banner up because of that. But the journey you don't want to watch. If this all ends with us in the finals, you're happy you got to the finish line. But everything that led up to it is going to do this to you. And that's what I've come to understand. And I don't know how much of that should be credited to him, or did LeBron and AD drag him to where he ends up? It's hard to tell. But I can tell you this. You get games like this, for sure. So that's what it really comes down to. Shout out to the Chicago Bulls for just shooting all kinds of threes. I think they walked out of there with like 19 threes made. I told everybody in the pregame video that Chicago hadn't shot below 40% from behind the arc in the last 3 games, man. They've been smoking teams. And good teams they've been playing very well against. That's what Billy Donovan's been saying. He likes how they're reacting to playing against high-level ball clubs. They just beat Joel Embiid, who went off for 51 tonight against the Timberwolves, of whom we will see in the next game. It's just frustrating, Laker fans. I don't like to lose, but I really don't like to lose against teams that I know that I'm better than. I'm better than the Bulls. I'm better than the Dallas Mavericks. I'm better than who was it we just lost to? San Antonio Spurs, the New York Knicks. We're better than all of these teams, man. We really are. And I say Dallas, understanding that when Luka's got Kyrie on the floor, it's a different dynamic. He didn't have Kyrie down there. We still got beat. We haven't played well since the Pacer game. The championship game, we haven't played well since then, y'all. This is yet another loss. We lost 3 out of the last 4 games to basically 500 ball clubs or worse. And then we got to go into the number 1 overall seed in the Western Conference tomorrow, Minnesota. There's no way I'm going into that game with confidence after watching this garbage. There's no way. And Anthony Davis is hurt with the he's going to play through it, I'm sure. Although, there's a chance you don't even play him tomorrow, given the fact that he did injure the hip, and it is. He rolled his ankle too, if I'm not mistaken. He tweaked the hip and rolled the ankle in this game. So you could be going to small ball tomorrow against Rudy Gobert and Karl Towns. And if you think you're going to win that game doing that, you're going to be very upset. That's what it really comes down to. That's not happening. And Ant-Man and those guys, I mean, McDaniels, we're not ready for that. We just got smoked by the Bulls, man. We're not going to be ready for that tomorrow night. So, yeah, man. This is, we were talking about this game being, not me, honestly, on this channel, but listening to other Laker analysts, they were essentially saying this was a must-win basketball game. If this is a must-win, we must make changes. Because this is not the way you want to approach a must-win basketball game. Your approach was bad. Your rotations were bad. Your players were underperforming for the most part outside of your stars. I like what I saw from Austin. I like what I saw from Bron. I like what I saw from AD. D'Lo was garbage tonight. Cam was garbage tonight. Taurean Prince hit shots in the first half, was garbage in the second half, and getting smoked defensively the whole time. Rui was garbage tonight. It was a bad night for a lot of guys, man. It was a really bad night for a lot of guys, and I just thought it came together to make for a very lackluster basketball game that I don't even think we ever got the lead in. If we did have the lead, it had to be in the first quarter, and that was it. And Chicago just shot the ball very well, and half of the battle was because we didn't leave them anybody that contested anything that they did. You got shooters shooting wide open shots. You got dynamic players jumping over non-athletic guys. You got on the defensive end for them being able to stop all types of dribble penetration by non-ball handling players. Got D'Lo down there just jacking up whatever, playing like he had a cold or something. Cam Reddish aggressive, but all of his offensive weaknesses were on high display tonight. And I read a comment that I definitely agree with. I want Cam Reddish on this team, but I've given up on him as a starter because of his his offensive deficiencies. They're really glaring. And when you don't have players next to him that can get a bucket, it just accentuates his weaknesses. And that's Darvin's fault, because you got players that you could use that can help you with that. He ain't playing them. A guy like Max Lewis would have helped you tonight with his athleticism, with his three-point ability. You need his dynamic play. But he's a rookie, underdeveloped, probably not ready. I'm not mad that Darvin didn't play him, but I'm just saying, like, the type of elements that you need on that basketball floor, that's kind of what you need. You need Max Christie, you need Max Lewis, you need LeBron James, Those are the type of players that you really needed to be at a high level tonight. Of course, you need to use your center position. We don't want to underestimate how small we went there, and how counterproductive that really was against the Bulls, who have Drummond and Vucevic. But you need perimeter guarding, guys who can guard the perimeter. You just didn't use any of that tonight. What you used was your stick figures. Guys that if the shot ain't falling, really ain't helping, other areas. Those are the guys you kept on the floor all night. Truth be told. And so it's just like, man, Darvin Ham, I don't want to overthink. I've been thinking about something for a while. I ain't said on this camera, but it's like this. Darvin Ham was a role player in the league. And I just feel like he has an affinity for guys who are limited. I really feel that way. Guys who really can't do too much. He kind of want to use them a lot. I guess it's because he was one of them dudes, so he kind of want to give him opportunities. I've been thinking this for over a year. I just never said it. But this is the night I want to say it. I just kind of feel like he has an affinity for the role player that really ain't all that great. And it's like, let me get him dudes opportunities I wish somebody would have gave me. And it's like, that's just kind of how I feel, man. I felt that way for a while. I don't know, man. I would be pleased if the Lakers just did move on from Darvin at this point, you guys. I don't want to underestimate what it takes to get to the finish line. I don't know that many coaches would have got us to the Western Conference Finals, or we would have won the in-season tournament. He does have some good, attributes that he has to his overall coaching style. There are some good things there. But the majority of what he does frustrates me. And the other parts of it, I don't really understand. It's that kind of thing. So I'm just like, I hear everybody saying fire Darvin. I really wouldn't be upset if we did, man. I don't think so, man. I don't think I'd be upset. I'd be wary about who we'd replace him with. Don't bring in no Terry Stotts like a lot of people be sound like Terry either. Don't bring me another bad coach. But I just feel like Darvin, when you really comes down to it, nights like this just make you feel like you have to limit his options. And if I feel that way, to where I need to get certain players off the team just because the coach is going to use them wrong, then why don't I see the coach as the problem? I don't need to move Gabe Vincent if somebody else is my coach who's going to use Gabe Vincent properly. I like Gabe Vincent as a piece. I think he's proven himself to be serviceable in this league with the Miami Heat. I think he served himself very well in that system. But because Darvin is Darvin in the way that he does things, I can't have Gabe on the team because, it's like I can't have Patrick Beverley on the team. I can't have certain guys on this team, man. And it's solely 100% because of how he's going to be used by the coach I have. And so with me saying this for over a year and a half now, you just wake up in the morning and you realize those players ain't the problem. The coach is the problem. You just don't feel it's realistic to get rid of the coach. And that's kind of how you see me approach these games night in and night out, y'all. That's kind of what it is. It just ain't realistic to get rid of him. The genie ain't going to do it. So, that's it, man. DeMar DeRozan killed us tonight. Vucevic shooting threes. Everybody shot threes tonight, boy. You look at that box score for the Chicago Bulls, you name it, they shot it. Kobe White walked away with 17 points. Very good fantasy points for my team. I got him on a bunch of squads. Couldn't be more happy with Kobe White. He's one of the best pickups of the year for me. And, I told y'all Ayo Dosunmu was a player that I thought did some pretty good things as well. He's a dynamic player. Ball handler, can make plays for others, do some things defensively. Patrick Williams' development is finally coming along. I know people were kind of frustrated with Pat Will, but Pat Williams starting to ball. He's starting to ball out. And I think it's going to be uphill from here for him. Javon Carter. We made Javon Carter look like Gary Payton or somebody out there tonight, man. It's just absolutely embarrassing. He ain't that. He plays well. I've seen him play well for the Chicago Bulls, but he is not what we made him look like tonight. Zach LaVine in street clothes and his team blowing us out. Like, why would I want to be a Laker from Zach LaVine? Why? Yeah, I can help your team, but you got to get some of them dudes out of here. Alex Caruso just reminded us why he should have been paid. And then you sit up here and look at D'Lo's contract, and you look what AC's making, and you wonder why the hell isn't AC on your team? Seriously, why the hell did we pay D'Lo what he's making and couldn't pay AC what he's making? Ain't no part of D'Lo better than AC at this point. He's just not. He can shoot better than AC, but everything else, that's AC got everything else. He's just a better player, man. And we knew that when we won the damn championship with him. So, yeah, I would trade D'Lo for AC straight up right now. I really would. I'd trade him for AC straight up. We ain't got to put no other players, no other picks, and nothing. You ain't got to do nothing else. Just give me him and leave him there. And I'll be very pleased with that. That's where I'm at with that. Because I don't need to see D'Lo no more. I really don't. I'm cool, man. After what I've been seeing these last couple games, he dribble under his leg one time, get cut off, can't move, dribble under his leg another time, get cut off. I mean, he has absolutely no athleticism there, man. And he can shoot some, but on certain nights, the shot ain't falling. He give me a layup here and there and come back down, get cooked. They run past him, run past Torian, lay the ball up. It's such a strain on Bron and AD to have to play with them two dudes in the same lineup. It really is. They're stick figures, y'all. What you want me to say? They don't have anything if the shot ain't falling. Neither one of them. They really don't. D'Lo can make plays. He has a passing ability. But otherwise, that's all he got. There's nothing else, man. And so if everybody around him was dynamic, if everybody around him had AC talent, then or Austin Reeves type dynamic ability, then of course you can make more of his piece because he's catching and shooting. He's giving them the ball. They streaking down the floor, doing all types of ball handle stuff, cooking, laying the ball up. But you don't have that. You got AD. You got LeBron James. You got Cam Reddish, who's not going to score at all. He gonna try, but it ain't really happening. And then you got the two stick figures now. And so it's like I need those two stick figures to be turned into ball handlers. One of them need to be somebody, and give me J-Dub from OKC and give me Caruso, and that's the type of talent that needs to make Bron and AD look better. That's what you need, to be honest with you. That's what you want. That the guys who about 6'6", 6'7", rebound the ball, play some defense, make plays, be dynamic, dribble, get to the lane, put the ball behind the back, spin around. All that type of stuff is what you need with LeBron James on the floor, man. Because otherwise, you get stick figure nonsense, and then it puts a strain on Bron and AD to make up for the stick figure nonsense. Bron's plus minus is negative because he's passing the ball to stick figures, and the stick figures getting run past, so it leaves him to be the last line of defense. He has to block shots. He ends up catching fouls. Like, that's why his plus minus is bad, because you keep him on the floor with damn stick figures. And so that's what, that's what it is, man. And you got dynamic players on the roster, but Darvin ain't playing them enough to develop them properly. So when he do put them on the floor, they can't play. That's what I see. And then when he brings in lineups he want to bring in after that goes foul in the first quarter, in the second unit lineup he puts in, it's like a bunch of guys out of position. Short people, can't rebound over nothing. If the shot ain't falling with them, it ain't nothing going on. It's just like, yo, Darvin, you are playing into the other team's hands when you do this, man. Everything that you want to do is the opposite of what would otherwise help you, brother. You needed tall people on the floor tonight. You needed dynamic players on the floor tonight. You needed perimeter defense. How many nights in a row have we talked about teams killing us from behind the arc? 5, I count. 5. You had the entire Chicago Bulls team. All of them shot over 3 threes, basically. All of them made over 3 threes. You had Dante Exum, Grant Williams, Tim Hardaway Jr., you had Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Wembanyama. You understand what I'm saying? You can move on to the game with R.J. Barrett, Jalen Brunson. Who else was hitting threes in that game? There was several other the Knicks hitting threes as well. Emmanuel Quickly. You see what's happening here? And then tonight, every night we're getting murdered from behind the arc, fam. Every night.
That's been the real story. Get killed on the boards, get smoked from behind the arc. Yeah, man. And then you see centers sitting down, not playing. You see young players that need development not playing. You see rotations that leave you without elements that make any damn sense. You got a starting lineup with 2 stick figures next to Hall of Famers. I am sick of Darvin's choices. And bringing back Gabe Vincent, who, with all due respect, is another stick figure, basically. A short stick figure. I'm cool, fam. I don't want any of this mediocrity on my basketball club anymore. I'm telling y'all, I need guys traded, and I need a coach that is going to utilize the talent that I bring in a way that is respectful of the fact that we literally have one of the greatest players to ever play basketball on our basketball team right now at age 39, playing some of the best basketball anyone has ever played, period, let alone at that age. We are not respecting the king, and we're not respecting the purple and gold when we do stuff that Darvin is doing right now. And you can blame the players because players play basketball, but at the end of the day, who is putting the chess pieces on the board? Because I'm telling you, we got a whole different roster if you use a different coach. You will get different things on the floor. There's coaches that can make Christian Wood look like a great player. They got coaches that can specialize in putting young players on the floor and insinuating their strengths. You got coaches that can make the best 3-point rotations come out of this roster. You got coaches that can make AD a big-time scorer with different plays that they would run. It's like, I know this roster can be used a million different ways. I know that. And this guy has me on the floor with 3 guards and no center. What are those 3 guards going to do? See, if you want to use a 3-guard lineup, you got to have 2 front court players who are going to be specializing in defense and rebounding, in my opinion. That way those little guards aren't relied upon to rebound. Because if you have them out there rebounding, they're not going to be able to. Because the team you're going against is not doing what you're doing. What you doing is not something that you're forcing the other team to adjust to. It plays into their hands. Now they can get easy buckets, easy rebounds, and the little dudes are fouling. If the 3-ball ain't falling, them little dudes ain't doing nothing. All the other elements of basketball is going the other way. Offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, shot blocking, everything plays into the other team's hands when you go small. You leave yourself very little room to succeed, and yet after a year of this, last year, it sucked the whole life out of the first half of the team. The first half of the year, we were unwatchable most of the time because of this dynamic. We were getting out-rebounded every night with small ball. Even with Frank Vogel before Darvin got here, we did that with the lineups we have. Just getting out-rebounded with small ball. And here we are after having a season like we had where half the team was injured for most of the year. We couldn't go small because there wasn't no small guys out there. Now we get the full team back, and immediately, he goes straight back to small ball rotations, man. As if they didn't fail him every time. This Chicago Bulls game was like the #1 game this season where I can honestly say, yo, a different coach would have won this game because we would have did entirely different stuff against these Bulls, man. They would have got an entirely different look out of this roster. That's what it really came down to. Of course they're going to shoot as well as they did. They didn't have anybody actually contesting those shots. We didn't play no D. And we couldn't play any D because of the way we put the roster on the floor. Effort ain't going to get it done when half your team is shorter than everybody else. You're going up against pure rebounders and Patrick Williams type dynamic. Caruso rebounds naturally. DeMar DeRozan, Hall of Famer. Like, you got real players you're going up against doing this experimental failure proven stuff, man. It's proven to fail you. And you're going to do it against a team that has this much talent. Kobe right out there breaking out. Vucevic, all-stars, center, shooting threes. You can't experiment like that against a team like that. What are you? You're not able to see that you're going up against a team that's big? It's like he thinks he can dictate terms with these lineups. You can't dictate terms, fam. What you can do is play straight into their hands, and what you can do is lose the basketball game. That's what happens when you do it. So that's my whole reaction to this game. The Chicago Bulls game was everything that's wrong with Darvin Ham, man. Everything that's wrong with this roster. It was all in one basketball game. If you wanted to see everything that's wrong with the Lakers basketball team right now, just go ahead and watch that game. Just go ahead and watch it. You'll see all of the problems that we have. Everything that needs to be fixed was glaring there for us. All of it. And I'm telling y'all, man, we may have won an in-season tournament and we looked really, really good against a team that could not stop us from scoring in the paint, the Indiana Pacers. We looked really, really good against a team that was missing a whole third of their entire roster because they've jumbled all of what it is that they're paying into 3 players in the Phoenix Suns. We looked really good against a team like New Orleans who's left their spirit out back home in New Orleans when they played us. Those were games you're going to win most of the time any damn way. You really are. If you think that's going to be a measuring stick for how you're going to beat other teams throughout the course of the season, I don't think it's a good one. Because none of those 3 teams look their best, and none of those 3 teams really are going to attack us the way the rest of the league is going to. That's the truth about the play-in tournament. That's the truth about how that went. We had the easiest schedule of anyone because we had the easiest pack of teams to go against. The weakest pack of teams to go against in the entire league was what we dominated, and then proceeded to have 3 knockout games against teams that really couldn't do nothing to us. They really couldn't. Without Bradley Beal, the Phoenix Suns are hurt. They're just bad. They're a bad team without him. And as we said, the Pelicans, I don't know where Zion's at. The Pelicans didn't even show up in that game. And the Pacers, as we said, they couldn't stop the paint. And not only that, but they were down a whole Andrew Nembhard, who we know what he can do and what he brings to the table. Because he shot us down last year in one of Darvin's small ball extravaganzas. So for me, it's like I am impressed with how we played, but I'm also aware of how all of that looked real good for us. And if we would have had a different pack of teams to go up against, probably wouldn't have went that way. Especially if we do stuff like this. It wouldn't have went that way, man. If you had to play the Bucks, the Celtics, the Kings, teams that you struggle against, Dallas, I don't know if you win that play-in tournament. You avoided a lot of stuff, LA. And so it might give you the guys that thinking you won a championship or something. Like your banner, yeah, we're that. No, you're not. You're not. You're not. If you had to play Joel Embiid, you would have lost. If you had to play Denver, you would have lost. Because this is the type of stuff that happens when you do. We couldn't even take care of Vucevic and Drummond with a decent center on the basketball floor tonight. What the hell you think Joel going to do to us? I remember what he just did to us, 44-point loss. And you get to see Minnesota for the first time tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That's Anthony Edwards. Big Cat, who's having a fantastic season. Rudy Gobert, who's comfortable in that rotation. Naz Reid. You ain't about to do nothing with them. Before that game even starts, I can tell you, if they play the way they're supposed to play, they're going to beat us by over 10, 15 points. It's not going to be difficult, man. It's not. So that's kind of how I'm feeling going into that game tomorrow. That's exactly how I'm feeling going into that game tomorrow. We got to make some moves. We got to make some moves, man. Get these stick figures out of here and bring in some dynamic basketball players. Get these small players out of here and bring in some centers who can really do something, man. Or you're not going to be able to defeat the teams that I just mentioned. You're not. I don't care what you did against the Pacers. I don't care what you did against shorthanded Phoenix. It ain't happening. That's what this is proving to me. So I'm cool, man. And like I said, I know it's not realistic, and I'm worried about who we will replace him with. But Darvin Ham, he ain't doing it. It ain't floating my boat, man. The way he's going about this, I'm just as frustrated as I was last year around this time, man. I think the team, the roster is better, but he ain't. He's not. And that's a big problem when I have a 1-year window to win a championship with 2 Hall of Famers trying to run toward their next championship. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Not with this team currently constructed. Not with that coach doing stuff like he's prone to do. I don't know. I don't see it. So now we gotta look at GM. You know, I'm happy with my GM. I ain't had to mention being frustrated with him at all. I don't feel frustrated with my GM. But now he's gonna have to make some more moves, man. He's gonna have to do some things to make us really happy. We need Rob Pelinka to step up and do something good right now, because this is not a championship team, man. It's not. And so that's where I'm at, man. This game really took a lot out of me as it pertains to my confidence in this basketball club. Because we brought Gabe Vincent back, and I saw exactly what I was worried about. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.